The new moon in Aries. This new moon in Aries is so important. And the importance of this new moon is that we're literally starting and launching off Aries season, the Astrological New Year, on the quietest night of the moon's energy. Hello and welcome to everybody in here. This new moon in Aries is going to be so potent as far as rediscovering your soul purpose. Pisces season brings people into this state of almost despair. I'd go as far as to say that like Pisces season can bring out a lot of like melancholy and not have everyone have a great time per se. Aries season is trying to be like, yo, look, I'm not going to be a victim to my own circumstance. Aries season is like, I'm not going to continue to be that same kid that got picked on, or like, I'm not going to be the same person that the boss overlooked. Aries season is like, yo, what's up? I'm here. Hey, Gail. Hey, Gabriella. Happy new moon. Hey, Danny. Happy new moon. Shout out to y'all for being here. I'm really excited to get into this one today. And I think this is like a real start. And the funniest thing about this new moon in Aries is that it feels like I'm actually like, this is my first like debut as an astrologer. I'm getting like in a really funny sense, like those same kind of like bubbly feelings again. And I've definitely looked back to see me like 5 years ago in like some room, kind of just like with a little microphone in my hand being like, one day I'll do this astrology, like maybe, this will be cool. And now I'm sitting here, full-fledged astrologer, talking to y'all live on YouTube. And it's starting to feel really amazing. And I appreciate each and every one of you to help me gain that process. Because I looked at last year on a new moon in Aries, I sat and I told myself that this is my year. And this is the year that either I become the astrologer and that spiritual person that I always know that I was and am, or that's it. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like, okay, time to go do something else. Time to get something else together. And seeing my last video on the new moon in Aries, which I'll probably make a post about at some point, I'm so awkward, right? I still look good, don't get me wrong. But I could just see where it's so awkward because the TikTok wave, the Instagram, all that type of wave that happened, I had no clue how to do that. I had no clue how to start it. I was used to talking in classes for like hours at a time, or like, oh, you have to go live. And I'm like, cool, I get to ramble for 30 minutes. Dope. But I feel like despite people loving my natural enthusiasm and charm, it became one of those things where I was like, yo, like I really want to break into this space. And I got very discouraged after when I first started getting back into it, because I was like, man, there's so many people that don't know what they're talking about, or haven't spent maybe the same time, or maybe haven't had like a certain part of that. And there was no hate, right? There's no hate in that process. It was just one of those like situations where I had to really sit there and figure out that it's like there's still like the work is being done. You know what I'm saying? Not every astrologer came into doing astrology thinking they had to make content. Not every person who's a musician came up learning all this stuff about music to be like, oh, in order to market yourself, you have to make content. That became a really interesting hurdle. And I think the challenge that I set for myself last year for the new moon in Aries was like, I'm going to do this. And it took me probably, and this is just real rap because I want to give y'all like real perspective on how this works. I don't think people are very honest about how much it takes to make stuff like this. I don't think people are honest about how much work it actually is. Everyone wants to make it look easy or like seem like it's like an easy process. So by the time people are like, oh, whatever, like, I'm trying to be like as real as possible. This was a hurdle. This has been a marathon. I feel like I'm just starting now. I feel like I'm genuinely just starting now. And I think the new moon in Aries kind of reminds you where it's like, in all cases and points in life, you can be that student. You get what I'm saying? What's up, Nina? What's up, Paige? What's good, Evelyn? Welcome in, everybody. I'm hype, yo. This is really dope, you know? Oh, love the backdrop. Got rid of the green. This is the green. It's just we had a little magic into that. But for example, I had no idea how to even make that work last year. You know how much freaking research and background I have to do? Like, I have a background in music. I have a background in like performance, sure, but the other stuff was like made no sense. But I had myself learn it to be able to present it better, because although obviously people will show up at any point, I want to make sure that it's one of those situations where I can hit the common core. And that was my new moon. That was my whole new moon setup last year in Aries, right? And I'm Aries rising, which is why I'm giving you my personal perspective on this, because this is going to show you where it's like people might see my success or see where I'm at now, and they're like, oh, shoot, he's doing that. But then I'm sitting there and I literally have a YouTube going from right now to back 5 years ago of how many awkward bumps and hurdles, and just like there are times where I would see it. I'm like, y'all, was angsty about something. This time I'll be looking back and I'm like, I was going through it right then. This time I was going back and I was like, you know what, that was pretty good, but like it's better now. And I think, you know, I put that record out there for me to see, and also to show other people and keep people in constant reminder that when I'm up, hey, this is where this is actually coming from. You get what I'm saying? I bet this was a lot of work. Your reels are so cool. Oh my let me stop. It's it's one of those situations where I think over time and over just like working on, you know, your craft and what you love, like I think people that choose to not miss what they love are truly living, I feel. And there's a lot of other hoopla and things that people say in a day, and it don't even make sense to an individual person per se. Like, oh, this was great advice. It's like, yeah, that advice was great like 20 years ago. I got into a whole conversation like just yesterday, and I was like, I understand the premise of how important it was for like the generations before. Like, you have to go to school and you have to do these things and you have to take this path and you must walk this way. And it's like, yo, it used to take 3 of y'all to figure this thing out. I can go on my live right now if I wanted to, type something up and get an instantaneous answer. I could screw around and get a whole entire essay written for me about something if I so need to, because that's the point that we're at. We're also heading into the age of Aquarius with Pluto in Aquarius, and that's my personal opinion. If you don't think that's true and you watch this later on, I don't care. I have been watching and keeping my ears down to astrology for honestly about 15 years now. Genuinely, I kept saying 10 or 11, but I forgot that I was saying that when I first was going and doing stuff. So I've been doing this honestly for like, I saw an old picture of myself. I was probably like 11 or 12. So I've been doing this since like then, genuinely, and I forgot. I'm really bad at like the years things. I don't know what time it is. I don't know what day it is, but I know where the sun at, and I know what moon is going on right now. I have a really good keen for that. But the reason why I'm mentioning so many like personal anecdotes though is because you have these same type of stories, right? And the Aries energy and what Aries can teach you, the best thing to do is to be yourself, because you have something other people may have the same ability to tap into, but they don't tap into it like you. There are hundreds to thousands of astrologers. But if I'm like, I'm the best, that's because I'm the best, right? Am I saying that I'm the best in comparison to? It's like, no, I show up the best version of me every day. Therefore, I'm the best, right? If someone else shows up every day, they're also the best. But it's less about what you allow other people to tell you are, and more so what you know you are, and how you're going to get that thing you know outside of you. How are you going to get that thing that you feel into the real time, into the real experience? And that's a lot of what this new moon in Aries has to do for the entire collective. And make sure you still check out the reels, the shorts, the TikToks, whatever, because I do have like specific things, and I have other that are dropping before that. I want to definitely make this like live stream out there for that. But I'm also debating going back into classes and like doing like the new moons and full moons as classes. But I'm going back and forth. I'm not going live, but this is like what's going to be most genuine, what's going to get people here. And I love the fact that y'all are here. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Thank y'all for being here, showing up and watching this live. But it's so important. And I think one of the main things I really got to get at is like, it's like being yourself, right? Astrology for me, nobody knew how much I cared about it. And a lot of it had to do with what's okay. What do people think is okay? You get what I'm saying? I had to go to, I have a really specific kind of upbringing, but around that, I'm like, okay, are these people questioning what they're being told, or are they just taking what they're being told as verbatim? And I was a kid who was definitely in the church, like, that don't make no sense. And they're like, but you gotta believe. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. They're like, but you have to trust. I'm like, that literally doesn't make any sense. I'm like, they out here describing Jesus like Jesus wasn't G'd up. A homie was chilling. He had all his homies with him, kicking it, living his life. He was traveling around with Mary Magdalene, baddie, hot girl before her time, beautiful. He was introduced to the world by astrologers, 3 wise men. They gave him presents. They're like, you're going to need this one day. And then he walked around city to city, blessing people and getting his feet rubbed. Homie was G. He was living his life. That's a king. But the way that we get brought up is that it gets twisted. It gets tainted by people using their ego for it. And I can go as far as there's some astrologers that do that shit too. Like, keep it a stack. And there's a lot of people that would be like, oh, yes, they're great. And it's like, you can learn, and this is the difference between like learning something for comprehension and learning something because you see something that's trending. And that was like a big, what used to be for me like a big like hurdle and milestone, I didn't let stop me as much as I was like, you know what? It's going to take me a minute, but I'm finna do it. And why? Because this is something that I've always loved. And this is a tool that has always allowed me to center myself a little bit better. And if I can take any of what the stars, the world, the universe has been able to show or offer to me as a gift to also bring to you, then I would love to remind you all exactly who you are. You get what I'm saying? I would love to remind you all exactly of that core that you know is there, that you know is there, that like, if your parents never had an influence, what would you just be? Would you be sitting there like, oh, if I wouldn't? Like, the Aries energy is like, we can't sit there and question to ourselves years later, man, what if I took that shot? It will eat you alive. You get what I'm saying? That's one thing. Remember, he was even gifted incense. Yeah, he had the frankincense. He had the myrrh. Honestly, 2 top tier resins. I definitely recommend checking it out if you've never done. But it's crazy. You get what I mean? You were the same way. Evelyn saying, question everything in church as a kid didn't make sense to you because like there are people that get born simply put as starseeds. Like we are souls in a human experience. You get what I'm saying? And the new moon in Aries is trying to remind you where it's like the human experience. Aries is the human part of that. So it's like, yes, of course you're from this galaxy. Of course there's 6 other galaxies that we know about. Of course there's all these other things happening. Of course AI is doing this. Of course tech is at this point. Of course there's all this, but it's like, what is your human experience right now? And what are you doing to make the most out of that? Sometimes that's you laying yourself in bed for an entire day because you need to recoup. But you might be looking at that like, man, I just spent the last 10 hours in bed. Now you're guilty. Now you're guilty for something that is literally being delivered to you by your own intuition, by the own core, because somebody else told you how to get up and do something. And you know that that's not what you're supposed to do. But we got it all twisted. as a collective, as a society. And I think Pluto and Aquarius, the new moon in Aries, all these shifts that are about to happen as we enter into this astrological new age are supposed to ground you back into that truth. Mercury also just went into Aries and it's going to be on this new moon, right? So it's literally what you think you are is who you finna be. So talk your shit. Like, you get what I'm saying? Who you think you are is what you're about to be. And that's not to say that if you have a bad thought here, or if you have oh no, that was kind of dark, what if I'm bringing that in? No, that's not the case. It's not the case. Because Aries is about the action. So what actions are you choosing to do to get you a little more dived into self? What actions are you choosing to go about? This is the start of the astrological year. I ain't even get into the astrology yet for real. Because new moon in Aries, what do you have to say? Because everyone has their own different perspective and experience, right? And in my perspective and experience, I get to help guide other people with that principle. And that's part of my duty, right? Speaking of, anybody who wants to get a reading at the end of this live stream, it's probably going to be going on for at least another 15, 20 minutes type of deal at the very least, right? But anybody who wants to get a live reading right now, I have my cards with me, I have my tarot deck and my moonology deck. I have it set up on my website. You just click at the top. If you want to leave a tip, it could be any amount. I don't really care. Be a tip. The higher the tip, I'm definitely going to be inclined to put more cards though. Don't get me wrong. But genuinely speaking, anybody that wants to drop a tip, I have all the stuff open right here and I will read it live for you at the end of this after I address everything. I just wanted to make sure that we can get more connection and also join the Lucky Stars community, the Discord one, because I'm going to start dropping as Aries season goes in forward. And I want to get people on early that are dope. It's just going to be a community of different creatives, artists, etc., where we just kick it. I'm probably going to end up hosting some actual voice chats and stuff like that as time goes on. But definitely make sure you check that out. But yeah, definitely get the reading. I just revamped my website. I took all weekend to do, but it was cool. And I think this is the perfect amount for what people need. And I also talk a lot. So when it says 15 minutes, you're getting a lot of info. When it says 45 minutes, you're gonna be sitting there. And the best thing about my readings now is that after you get an actual reading, we have a follow-up session. So of course there's gonna be whatever questions happen then, but now it's gonna be oh shoot, it's been 2 weeks. I've been seeing this happen. I got more questions, and that happens to everybody. But you're oh man, I just spent this. We have a literal follow-up session, and we get to plan it out that day after we get our reading done about what's going on there. And I also have the personal astrology reading, which is going to be, you get 4-hour sessions out of a 3-month period where you can drag on over, call me up, I'll pop up, I'm like, what's up? And then we get everything popping. So if you do want to get a reading, I have, like I said, my email open right there. Just double check. Let's see. We got Chris on right now, and I'm gonna send it to you afterward too. So far we got one person. But take your time, no worries at all. But let's hop into this astrology. I've now stopped talking, but please buy a reading or tell your friends to buy a reading because money is nice. It is. Okay. Regardless. I disappeared. I'm sorry. So basically, right, let's get into this new moon in Aries as you can see here. So new moon. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, it's the wrong way. I'm putting like this. First and foremost, right? We have the new moon popping up. It's 0 degrees. 0 degrees Aries is the cardinal point. It's actually one of the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the world point or the cardinal point. I don't want to say this incorrect, but it's the first degree of the zodiac, period. And we can say that for a fact. Period. Without 0 degrees Aries, there is no other zodiac sign. There's no other information we can have, right? So specifically, 0 degrees Aries is trying to make it so you get to set out what your story is. You get to set out what your journey is about to be, right? And this isn't up to anybody else to decide. It's only up to you. And that's why this Aries season is going to be so important, Because you're going to see the difference between people that, when given all the tools, choose to do something about it. And you're going to see the difference between people that have everything and they just don't do anything about that. And so it's going to be a matter of like access versus your genuine truth. And with Mercury on Aries as well, this is like a commanding, like, yo, if you say that I had something in my Lucky Stars community, right, where I was like, I'm the greatest astrologer of all time. I'm wealthy in mind and in spirit. I'm physically capable and stronger than ever. I'm a great friend and companion, and I am my greatest version of myself every day. Cool. I just BS the affirmation for myself, right? But the concept of this, right, is that self-talk. And I highly recommend, if you are someone who needs like affirmations, or you're someone who genuinely needs like constant feedback per se, right? Write your affirmations, rewire this brain, rewire it to build in your manifestations. As a matter of fact, what's so cool about the magic of the world is that people always assume you have to pick up a specific tradition, or like, oh, well, I have to do it like this way because someone else did that and they wrote it in this book, so it has to be that way. We are in the land and time of innovation. Pluto's in Aquarius. We're heading into, if we're not already in, the age of Aquarius, for real, for real. This is 100% has everything to do with what you're going to choose to make happen. We have Chiron and Jupiter both making a conjunction over here as well, right? And the moon's going to pass by it right after this new moon. So on March 21st, where this new moon starts, in the next 2.5 days afterward, the moon is literally sliding. Look at all the things the moon got to hit after this new moon in Aries at 0 degrees, starting off this astrological new year. It is going from, my fault, 0 degrees. Oh, I can do it. Oh, so close. Anyway, it's going from 0 degrees, right? Then the moon's going to hit Mercury. Then the moon's going to hit Chiron. Then the moon's going to hit Jupiter. Then it's going to go into Taurus. And everyone thinks, oh, it's fine. No, it's going to hit the North Node. It's going to hit Venus. It's going to hit Uranus, right? And the concept, too, is that in a month's time, we have an eclipse. We have an eclipse in 1 month's time that starts off this astrological new year. And then we have the nodes that are in Taurus right now shifting into Aries, going into Libra for the South Node. We are making a lot of difference, and it's all going to be about the difference between you, your communication, your relationships, and how you honor those relationships. But it starts with you, because you can't be in a good relationship if you're not fully yourself. That goes from friends, that goes from partners, that goes from everything else. If you can't be yourself around somebody and make a silly little mistake, and it's like, oh, it's whatever, dude, those people aren't for you. Those people aren't there to help. Those people aren't there to engage you. And this is the astrological new year to cut them things off. Because you know exactly who might be in your life or in this position who's causing grief or giving you some BS. You get what I'm saying? Like, everyone knows who comes in and shakes things up. And shout out to y'all who have ended up tipping, by the way. Much love to y'all. I'm really excited to do this. I wanted to start this new, and I think this will be a good way to be able to still make like some genuine income while not having to like gatekeep with a class. You get what I'm saying? I don't really want to do that, because I really do feel like this should be out there as well. So I appreciate the tips on that as well. So if anyone does want a reading, be sure to flood in still, and I'll send that all to you right afterward as well. Regardless. Or, as a matter of fact, I might record. Not the point. I'm going to get it to y'all. That's the point. Anyway, get back to what I was saying. This new moon is going through all of that. It is going through all of these changes. And then Mars, by the time it hits where Mars is, as we can see right here, then Mars goes into Cancer. Mars going into Cancer during Aries season. So this is also Martian fuel. So now the camaraderie, right? Mars is in Gemini and been in Gemini for a minute. I'm not even going to lie. It went retrograde at some point. It was terrible. No one had fun. But it really changed the scope on like how all those things happen, right? Not the point. To get going though, Mars goes into Cancer on the 25th, which is literally what, 4 days after this. All of it goes less about trying to spread your energy out, and everything else starts to go in within. And all the emotions and the motives that you have are going to be intuitive. But if you don't know how to trust yourself, if you don't know how to trust your instinct, if you don't know how to trust your intuition, you're gonna be screwed. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Because when the Mars in Cancer is like, yo, maybe I should stay home today, that is your intuition telling you maybe you should stay home today, right? Because you might go out and you don't know, you know what I'm saying, or something's weird. You're like, oh, I don't like this, but it's like, oh, you ignored your gut feeling, you know. And I've talked to so many people that are so naturally intuitive, but because of the way they got raised or because of what they had to deal with, it just becomes this whole different vibe, and they think that they feel guilty almost for trusting themselves. This astrological new year, you cannot be guilty for trusting yourself. You cannot be guilty for trusting your inner voice. Some people don't have an inner voice, but you got vibes. Some people don't have that, but you got instinct. That's human. That is humanity. That is what Aries is to remind you, is that we're all human here because we chose to be here to do something, to live and aim for a path, make that happen. So what are you going to make happen, right? The new moon is technically also going to be making a square to that Mars in Gemini, right? And that square, because we're entering this next bit, but the square here is like, I thought I've already said these affirmations. Why didn't they work before? We weren't in a state for it to work before. We were in winter. Oh, but I set forward my New Year's resolution. It was supposed to be different. It's like, yeah, but New Year's resolutions are Capricorn season remediation. If you ain't start something by Capricorn season, you ain't finna start it then. But it's a great time that if you did start something on a time like this, by the time it hits Capricorn season, you get to finally capitalize fully off of whatever you set out in Aries season. And that's how the seasons work. I'm gonna get into that a lot more with that, right? Swear you be dropping bags if the bag were right. We all finna get the bag, and I appreciate the tip as well, and I appreciate everyone being here. But genuinely, like, because for me, like as a person, that's currency enough. Someone hitting like a like, someone hitting a comment, someone doing that helps someone else be able to see that might have it at that moment. Or better yet, you get to see it. And I appreciate you all for being here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's what matters to me. And that goes a long way, because I know I've had definitely my bouts back and forth with social media being like, we don't support your content. The one that blew my mind the biggest time was like Instagram literally promoted me, and they put me on their creators thing, and they're like, check out up and coming astrologer. And I'm like, cool. And everyone on this post had like thousands of more people that followed them. And I was like the underdog one. I'm like, cool, this is dope. And as soon as I started getting heads again, Instagram was like, you know what? You might be making too many points. I don't like this. And then they low-key shadow banned me for like the longest time. Then I'm like, I bet. And I still made it. I kept making stuff to the point where I think I like low-key re-broke it. I think I broke Instagram a little bit, but now people start seeing my stuff again, and it's really cool. And then someone will just share something and it'll just pop, and I'm like, wow, that's dope. And then someone orders something and I'm like, wow, this is like a real currency of love, time, and effort. And so you're seeing me do this, and you might be there like, wow, that's a cool astrologer guy. But you don't see nothing in me you don't see in you. I'm just here to remind you of that fire. I'm here to light that spark under your ass. That's me. That's like you thought you was gonna not work on your dream? Oh, you thought you wasn't gonna. The purpose of this though, and even with this new moon, right? Life begins when you take that fool's journey. Let's get the circle back. Let's get the circle back to the title of it. Let's go. But life begins when you truly just let yourself foolishly chase what you're going for. All throughout our society, culture, everything, we always honor the individual until the individual is an individual. And then it's like, well, now we should ostracize them. And then they do something great. And as soon as they do something great, they're like, wow, we're so glad that they've always been a part of this. And it's funny how it works. I haven't watched the show in a grip, but I'll even use it on the nerd tip, right? I think Naruto is like the perfect example for this, or Naruto if you're Michael B. Jordan. Now playing. Shout out to Creed 3. That was an amazing movie. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors for reminding me I'm not even hot yet, and I got 10 years, and then I'm going to be sexy as shit. Shout out to me. Put me on the Time magazine, Sexiest Man of the Year 2030. It's going to be lit. Regardless, the idea bringing it into fruition. Regardless though, besides my clownery intact, this there's so much to do, there's so much to see, and the more you get to resonate with you, the easier those things start to pop up around you. You get what I'm saying? First time here, I said shout out to the magical magician. Welcome in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and all that. I have a lot of content. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Nah, but for real, I do appreciate everyone being here as I ramble in front of a astrology program that I use every day. Happy Mars return, by the way. Happy Mars return. But I think we have reached a comfortable time where I'm going to double check the tips real quick. Oh, we got some people. Thank you, party people, and the place to be. We are now in the midst of a real MC. Throw your hands in the air if you real as me. Let me stop. That's actually, it was a very Aries type of thing. I was not expecting that. If you want to tap into your Aries energy, what just popped in my head is listening to Tupac. I don't know, like it literally just popped in my head. Tupac was Aries moon, but a lot of the energy and the like exuberance. Shut up, me. Anyway, but a lot of the exuberance. Oh, I look good. Good for me. I saw my website. My bad. I'm making sure I have everyone's tip so we can go through this list too. But does anyone have any questions before we get into anything else for this new moon in Aries? I would love to answer anybody who has like a immediate question. This is the part where I ad lib for a second because I don't have a team to click random buttons for me. So I'm just like, transition here. We're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there by the end of this astrological year. How about that? We gonna claim that. All right. So over in the tipping, any questions? The love. Wow, this is so many people. Okay, let's get it. Woohoo! Okay, cool. Someone said, so funny you're singing Tupac in your head today. Yeah, like it's funny where it's like the revolution, the rebel, all of that is like very much represented in his music, and it had a lot to do. And even sometimes it was ridiculous and he was just bugging out, but a lot of the other times where he was like, yo, we gotta turn up to protect our people, right? And that's what I'm gone again. Anyway, but that's what Pac ended up like really like bringing through with his music and everything else like that. But I think that's really, really important for everything else. Someone asked, how do we hit the tip jar? The tip jar is literally going to be, I have it directly linked in the description of this video. So if you just want to click it, it's going to send you right over there. Tip whatever amount you want. I'm just going to just pull a couple cards intuitively and talk that BS in just a minute. But okay, cool. Yeah, we fixed it. I got to get a stream deck at some point. Not the point. Regardless, I'm so excited for this new moon in Aries. Matter of fact, here's what we're finna do. I'm not finna pull for all the signs today because I genuinely think sometimes, right? Sometimes I think there's a genuine, and this is a Palo Santo YouTube. Don't play me. This is Palo Santo. We love you. Shout out to this. But it's one of those situations, right, where I think getting a personalized reading means so much more than having to do all 12 signs. At a certain point, depending on what's going on, my energy will be like, man, you could have just been doing that to help out people specifically. And I'm like, oh, shoot, that would make sense. How I'm finna do that. I'm hilarious. Yeah, woo. I'm a double sag. If I wasn't funny, I'd be mad. I'm not gonna lie. That's I'd be so upset. I'd be like, how am I not funny as a fire sign? How'd y'all do this to me? How did this happen? I don't know. Do I know a not funny fire sign? I have to. I must. But what makes a fire sign not fun? I'd probably say like too much water. I think like there's so many like intriguing. And that's what astrology is so one person, like individual person, that is so hard for me to just like. The only thing I'm comfortable with is when people are like, oh, I'm looking at my rising sign. It's the only thing I'll be like fully comfortable with when it comes to stuff like that, right? Oh, shout out. This is a vibe. I ain't mad at this. As an Aries rising, it is so hard to perceive myself as a person. Like I'll be having moments where I'm just like, what? For real? I do that? It's like, yeah, that's why people enjoy your content. I'm like, what? People enjoy my stuff? Wow. I would say too much earth if I didn't have too much earth in my chart, and I'm hilarious. So I am breaking that. I'm breaking that down. Okay, screw it. Anyone else that wants to drop a tip, please do so. But I have all the info. The rest of the info is all my short content. But I do want to do this for the people because this is way more community based. Make sure you join the Lucky Stars community. Discord is a little confusing at first, but it's going to be right underneath the Lucky Stars part. As a Scorpio rising, you're like, don't perceive me more. No. But as soon as someone you like walk by, Scorpio risings be like, anything for you. It's hilarious. I love to watch it. It's great to see. I'm so earthy. Earth signs are not boring. They're not going to start random shit, but they're not boring. If anyone says an earth sign is boring, it's because you're boring. Earth signs are not boring. Or if a Pisces says I'm bored, I believe them because they've been here too many times. Called out. Nah, that's all love. You know that. Although I will probably do some like TikTok roast at some point just for the love. Also, I find it funny debating random people that know that, like, everyone who I've ever talked to that says astrology is fake knows it is real. It knows that it's a thing. And they're just mad at that girl in the 7th grade that was like, I don't really like Aries because my ex was an Aries and he was really mean. It's like, well, I can be really mean too. And it's like, then you try to probably be. And now look at you. Looking stupid. Fulfilling your zodiac contract. Denying it loudly in front of everyone like your sign didn't say that's what you're going to do. Man. Anyway. All right, I'm going to pull one card though for everybody real quick. Let's just get an overall collective pull, matter of fact. And then I'm going to hop into the tip one. So if you want to still tip, throw that in. If not, all good, no worries, much love. But I do want to start doing these for these live streams on YouTube because I think that's going to make a lot of sense. And I'll always have that up. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups is here to show you. Honestly, it's easier for me to do this, right? The 5 of Cups I love. I love the card. In the original tarot deck, the reason why I like it so much is because it's just some dude, and this is the Scorpio Venus in me, I'm not going to lie. It's some dude who's just looking over at like 3 spilled cups, my bad. 3 spilled cups being like, man, my cups, they've spilled. Meanwhile, there's 2 right behind him perfectly full. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of some dude or some girl, specifically, just a person who has a lot of charisma, or WRIZ as the kids are saying nowadays. And they're like, man, I have 5 options in people, but 3 of them are doing other things. And meanwhile, you have 2 people that are willing to just like jump off of something mad stupid for you. And you're just like, but my other options. And they're like, yo, you have 2 people that are like really potential mates right here. It's like, but my other options. So I think the 5 of Cups is trying to signify is that for a lot of people, and you're going to feel this as we head into the new year, for a lot of people, they're still going to be bringing in 2022 energy into the real 2023. And a lot of that has to do with people being like, man, like I took a loss here. It's like, okay, you took a loss there, but did you get a dub somewhere else? It's like, nah, just, I've been taking a loss here. It's like, you still have other things behind you. You still have other opportunity, but I think a lot of people have been facing that defeat in this Pisces season. So how are people going to get past that, right? It's been a minute since I've had cards. I've had the inkling all Pisces season that I needed to start pulling cards again. But I wanted to become a astrology master again first. So I'm a dork, but this is what I do. Regardless, as we can see, we have the 7 of Pentacles, right? 7 of Pentacles is like, yo, if you try that thing out, it's going to start growing. You just have to water it. Like the whole purpose of this, like this card specifically, which I think is honestly cool that it does phase out. But this specifically, it looks holographic, honestly. But that is going to be showing you that it's like you have to water those things to grow. You have to nurture that thing. Let's say you want to be a gymnast, right? When was the last time you stretched? Why don't you just stretch every day? Now you're doing something active, new moon in Aries. Now you're doing physical activities. Now, so that's how that's working, right? This past week has been really painful and also abundant. Sounds like a 5 of Cups tracks, because the last week of Pisces season is literally like, man, remember that person that had a crush on me in college, and they just didn't like me at a certain point, and I just didn't know why, and I never got over it. It's like, bro, you married and got 4 kids. What are you doing? It's like, yeah, man, but like, isn't that crazy? It's like, bro, you are married with 4 kids. Why are you thinking about this? And it's like, oh. It's like, it was like, bro, you live in this crib with everything. And this also kind of shows to the point where it's like, the concept of attainment does not equate to happiness. That's what people get screwed up so many times. Now, I talked about it in the IG live I did for a minute, but I'm like, yo, people be like, once I get this thing, I'm going to be happy. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to be like, oh, I got it. Wow. Now what? Spiritual, emotional fulfillment are so important. And last, we had the 9 of Pentacles, right? And this is heading into the future. And heading into the future, it is abundant. It is abundant, but it's only abundant if you choose to water it. At the bottom of the deck, I have this again. It's just telling you, get over yourself. To be real, it's like, get over. Hi to Oki. I never know how to pronounce your name, to be honest with you. I think it's 2 Oki's bus. Regardless, much love to you, and I appreciate your support as always. Thank you for being here. I'm just like, how do I pronounce that? Y'all be tricking me into going live. Y'all be tricking me into going live, and then I'm just like, oh, wait, I'm a triple fire sign. I'm a neurodivergent triple fire sign. And I'm like, what's this? Oh, the color. And thing will be there all day. Yeah. I love this. I love y'all. This is great. But to move forward in this reading, though, it's very much just like, don't cry over spilt milk when you got a cow. Don't cry over spilt milk if you have oats. It's like, man, I don't have a cow. You got these oats, you better make that oat milk. And it's like, man, but I don't have it this way. And it's like, so what you gonna do about it, right? Well, that person has it over there. It's like, okay, what do you got? And I think that's like, one of the neurospicy fan. I don't know a singular spiritual person who isn't. Let's keep it a stack. I don't know a singular spiritual or creative who isn't neurospicy, because that's literally what it means. Not the point. What's the Discord name again? It is the Lucky Stars community. Let me see if it is pinned. I think I pinned it. Let me double check for you though. No, I did not. How could I? Silly me. I'm gonna post this over. If anyone does have any more questions though, drop them down. And then I'm about to get into the questions and the tips in about 5 minutes. But I want to make sure that I send this out to you all, especially if you're right here, so you can join as well. Shout out to this. This is fun. That is a draft I never posted. Shame on me. How do I, what's going on? How do I do this? Oh no, I feel old. Let me stop. Invites. That's not how that works either. Anyway, it's on my website. Actually, that's how I can find it. Wow, look at that. Look at me go. Finding stuff. I'm so proud of me. Oh, now I gotta type. Oh no, so many things are going on. So many things are happening. They're all good, but oh so bad. If you are watching this, later on, just skip 2 minutes ahead. Just skip 2 minutes ahead. It'll save you so much time. Or watch the whole thing through, because I'm beautiful. Whatever you want to do, I don't care. Shout out to y'all. Y'all really coming through on this goal. Much love. Y'all are cool. Okay. I have found the Discord link. I have found it. And this right here, once I figure this out, okay, I'm a genius. Boom. We have solved everything. We are masters of our own universe and everything that comes with it. Okay. That is the Discord invite. We saw the house this year. I think you might have dropped a tip. So I'm going to just check that in a second. But okay, let's get into it. Let's do this. This is my first time doing this, so judge me if you will. But that's kind of rude. And this is the last shot, last call for anybody who wants to get a reading on here. If not, you're going to have to get one yourself. I also think it's just cool to do tarot live. It's so specific. It just hits straight to the source. Okay, let's get it. All right, so we're going to start off with Chris. Shout out to Chris. Chris ordered their reading before everybody else. I was on Instagram. They're like, I want one. Give me my reading now. I'm like, that's cool. I don't even know where I'm at anymore. Awesome. So I'm about to pull over for Chris and get this all started. Thank you for being here and everything else. They said, been following you for some time now. Appreciate your content and authenticity. Dope. As a matter of fact, I'm going to send everyone their individual one. I have an idea. I'm a genius sometimes, except for when I'm not. But even when I'm not, I'm somehow am, because I claim it, and that's what Aries season is all about. All right. This is now the recorded section of everybody who got a reading. We're starting off with Chris. So, here's what we got. First card to pull. We have the Empress for you, Chris, right? And the Empress is one of those cards that I really, really adore. And the reason why I adore the Empress is because the Empress is the queen that the queens look up to. The Empress is like, y'all, you are queens. We love what you're doing, but you're actually worried about the wrong thing. And they're like, what do you mean we're worried about the wrong thing? And the Empress will tell you something so vague, yet so illustrious and so alluring, where you're like, I don't know what that means, but it's provocative. This is either one of two things. Either the Empress, the baddie energy, so to speak, is going to start to come out of you, or you're going to be running across someone who represents that Empress energy. Beautiful, divine feminine type of energy. And it's going to teach you something about honoring your own royalty. and approaching yourself as royalty, especially as we enter into this astrological new year. How can you bring yourself to be in a more royal and loyal position to the cause that you're aiming for? We also have the new moon in Libra. It looks like that Empress might be coming to you because it says a new romantic cycle begins. So this is like, if you know that person that you eyeing, or that lady, or whoever represents that specific form of like, I have it all together and I'm beautiful doing it, this is going to be the vibe that you're going to want to start approaching, because that is the person who's actually, what you seek is seeking you. So if you got the Empress card, you are being sought out by an Empress-esque energy. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's dope. Were we supposed to ask a question? You ain't necessarily have to ask a question. If I get to you and you want to drop one, please do so. But honestly, it's probably better if I just pull stuff, because that's normally how that works, to keep it a whole stack. All right, so we have that for Chris. Shout out to Chris. This website, man, sometimes. Let's see who else has dropped a response. It's only showing me old stuff because, of course, it is. Why wouldn't it? Okay, now I found a new one. Okay, next we have Sharon. Sharon, thank you for that beautiful donation. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to pull 3 cards for you off of that just because that's dope. Thank you so much. So we have the one for Sharon, right? So Sharon, let's get it. We have, let's do it like this. 1 card. Thanks for loving when I draw cards. I should do it more often, huh? Probably. I like to, did you ask a question? I didn't. Okay, I guess I'm chilling. I feel that high key. All right, so for Sharon, we have the Ace of Pentacles. This is fire. Ace of Pentacles is trying to show you that you literally have all the capability in the world right now to make something illustrious, right? This is almost like it sounds like you're like trying to get a new job almost, right? And that might not be the case, but it's like, you're like, oh, this is a thing I'm willing to put my commitment into. And you're finally seeing the results of like a lot of other deep work, root work, dare I say, that you've been dealing with and going through. And now that the Ace of Pentacles is trying to show you, oh, this was all just to show you how abundant you are. We just wanted you to get rooted so we can show you how far things can actually go, right? Then we have the Moon card. And the Moon card after this is showing and making sure that you can start to see that, the world is a stage, right? And the Moon card is trying to remind you that it's not everything is exactly what you see. Not everything that gets shown to you is exactly the truth. And that doesn't mean that you're not telling the truth or anything like that. But getting the Moon card on the new moon is really showing that it's like the lessons of this new moon. Please rewatch all my stuff on the short form content wave. I might post it onto YouTube as well. But it is really going to show you where it's like all of those directives you need to really take seriously. They say communication is also key, which is really funny because the next card I have for you is a 2 of Cups. So this looks like there's a person, right? Let's double this up, right? There's a person who's coming in to fill up your cup the way you fill up their cup, right? And communication is key. So it seems as though this might be a manifested relationship. This might have been a manifested friendship. The Moon, the 2 of Cups. But this is really showing you that it's like, it's time to work together with somebody. And you know who that somebody is. If you've been wondering who it was, that's exactly who it is. Like, that's how these readings work, to be honest. So if you're like, maybe it's them, probably them. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're wishful thinking. And then it's still probably them. So just make sure that you're like checking in, tapping in, and you remind yourself that the abundance was never outside of you. The abundance was always within you. And that's how you are drawing people in, because of that energy. It's nothing outside of you. It's all from within. Something I wanted to point out. Sounds cool. Let's get to the next one. We're doing it. Please like, comment on this after, share it with somebody you like, or share it with someone you hate. YouTube doesn't know the difference. We appreciate it though. All right, so Oh, I already had it open over here. Wow, look at me. Being all in advance and stuff like that. So Gabriella. All right, let's see what we got right here for you. Hi, Chad. That is me, I think. I have some options for potential career transitions coming up. If you have any cards that would speak to this will be amazing. Thank you for all that you do. Much love. I also have a career reading that I just started. It's like dream career, everything else like that. I look at the astrology more so for that. But let's pull a couple cards. A couple potential career transitions. What do you want to do? All right. Shout out to you for leaving a tip as well. You're stuck between two of them. I knew it. I felt it. You want to know what's crazy? I got you right here. This is the Two of Swords. This is what came out, right? I really, when that card comes up, I get so frustrated because the Two of Swords is like somebody there and they're just blindfolded. And it's like, yo, just take the blindfolds off. And it's like, but what if I put the swords down? It's like, just take the blindfold off. It's like, but what if I put the swords down? So you being kind of stuck is like, what if you do put the swords down? Either nothing's going to happen or you think everyone's going to come in and be like, okay, it's time to charge. They put the swords down. Right? But it's just showing that you are the Knight of Swords. So it's almost as if this is really cool. I like how it just takes out the green and certain things and does that. Regardless, this Two of Swords bit, right? This is trying to make sure that you end up really kind of dashing forward in regards to what it is that you know, right? This is all a mind game, I'd even say, because of the way that the swords are working with this is like you can see it's like the Knight of Swords has two swords that are being crooked. And it's almost as if they're the same opportunity, which is even more like they're not the same opportunity, but I think they're going to do for you the same end result that you're looking for. So it's in between two. If you have three, narrow it down to two. And I would just highly recommend it's like, all right, where do you think you're going to grow at? Not even money. Where do you think you're going to grow at? Because you can grow in something in under a year and you can make some real moves that will keep you set forever, right? The other end is like, you need to approach this as if you want both jobs. Let's say, let's bring down the two things. Approach it like you are getting both jobs, and that's going to like help guide you specifically on what you need to aim for. But it's all a mental game of self, and it seems as though you're going to find a balance of it. Because you have to think to yourself, and my main prompt as we end this off for the career opportunity is which job or career choice sounds more meditative for you? Because some people love being in the books. They're like, just send me over in the corner and I'll just look at this. But if you know half your job is going to be doing the books and you're a public speaker, you're not going to grow. But if you're like, oh, this is the thing I know I can grow in, you might literally scale off and do something different and bring that in. So that's my overall result, I would say, is that you might feel like, oh no, someone just bent the sword. But it's like, a warrior doesn't necessarily need the sword to get the fight going. This is my suggestion to you. Find whatever is most meditative and choose that. For sure. Okay. Next part. Thank you all for still being here. Well, you're also probably waiting for a reading, but I still appreciate y'all being here. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all. Much love. How many we got in here? We got 16 likes and 16 watching? The ratio. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all so much. All right. Speaking of appreciation, Olivia, she said, I appreciate you. Well, I happen to appreciate you right back. Facts, King Sigma. Facts. Facts. You are that. You get what I'm saying? That's what Aries is trying to remind you. Not everybody had tools before. They had to do everything bare hand. Rock. Come on. All right. So for Olivia, we have the Ace of Cups. That is the sauciest thing to see on the last day of Pisces season. Wow. This Pisces season has been a lot for you, huh? The Ace. Oh, no bullshit. Yo. Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. Okay. 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 You was talking about if you had the bag, you would. It looked like you about to get that bag. Ace of Swords is like, man, it's almost as if you just went on a journey of thinking you needed to understand your mind and found a whole new emotional context to where you're like, it's not about what I think, it's about what I feel. And you've probably been dealing with that for the last 2 weeks. Just like, I have all these feelings, but it doesn't coincide with how I think, but it's how I feel. And I think it's like that back and forth has been going on, but it's like the feelings that you've been developing have everything to do with you taking that next leap into your truth, into the waters behind your truth, and more so even into your spiritual self. I think this new moon in Aries is having you set off your spiritual self, where it's like, yo, if you think you from the fairy kingdom, tell that to the most average Joe person you do, just to see what they say. And some of them might even screw around and be like, yeah, no, that does make sense. I always love that. I love having the muggles, if you will. Just regular people, honestly. Just be like, oh, this sounds real, but I don't know how to put my head around it. It's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, sometimes things slip. But yeah, shout out to you. Definitely see a lot of real change coming up for you in regards to everything. Dope. Blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. So for Paige, let's get it for Paige. Also, everyone's reading is different because I'm literally just intuitively streaming whatever pops in. So like, there's no specific way I'm doing this. This is just whatever is coming up for the message, just to let y'all know. Paige, it looks like you had a card for you. Looks like there's a card for you. It just jumped on out at you. It's the Five of Pentacles, Paige. What's going on, Paige? Look, sometimes things is hard, genuinely speaking. The Five of Pentacles is like, man, I feel broke. That's one of the worst feelings. It's like, man, I feel broke. It's one thing to not have money. There's another thing to be like, I don't feel like I have this going on. And the type of quote unquote broke isn't even just a financial one. It's like what if I can't achieve this thing? It's almost like the reason why this is so critical is that the Five of Pentacles also normally shows people the dark night of the soul. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I've been making content for the last grip in, I think, maybe just last month from like December to that. I was whole ass depressed. Like, whole ass depressed. But it was because it's like, what happens is that sometimes we hit those stages because we know that there's something else that's fueling, and we're thinking too far ahead of time. And this Five of Pentacles is trying to show you where it's like, you're on point, you're on timing. But it's like, what it says right here is that a personal issue will reach a resolution, right? And I think that Five of Pentacles is just trying to show you the bottom to remind you how dope the top actually feels. And I think a lot of people that miss that context don't get to fully develop that. And in between, as soon as I split the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is that whatever I think I can means it will, right? Literally, Thomas is saying, I think I can. That is 100% the Ace of Swords, right? So you're about to will a lot of things into existence, but that lack mindset has been kicking your ass. Not gonna put it past you, right? Anxiety fuels depression, right? And I think one thing in that conversation too is that like, it's okay when you don't feel okay. Like, genuinely speaking, it's just making sure you have the outlet to do something about it, making sure the right people around you know what's going on, and you just continue to find that one little silver lining per day. That's really what it is. And I'm the first person to sit here to be like, yo, like it sucks. Sometimes shit just sucks, right? But it's like, okay, how are you gonna step into it? How are you gonna make it better? And I think this new moon in Aries is really trying to show you what's gonna make that better. So I hope that helps for sure. Daniela, I don't know why I said it like that, but oh no, am I having fun on live? Are people gonna perceive me having fun for the new moon in Aries? Oh no. Oh no. So, Are you not entertained? I just dropped something. That means that's the card. Oh my goodness. I mean, that's actually interesting. I normally don't pull reversals. Not because I'm against them, but because I kind of just intrinsically know what's supposed to be reversed and what's not. But when things fall out in reverse, I always read them as such, right? And this is the Tower. And I got this Tower in reverse, which means one of two things. Either I'm gonna keep it a stack. I'm gonna keep it a whole stack. I'm gonna keep it there. There's something that you think you're probably supposed to do that's going to not work out that way. And it's not working out that way specifically for you to literally. This is like you being like, I just worked hard to become an Olympic swimmer, but the Olympics have shut down. And so everything in your mind is like, but I was supposed to do the Olympics. And you're like, oh my God. Meanwhile, everyone else that was also supposed to do the Olympics feels the same. And they got together this whole other thing. It's like, well, we're still going to have this big thing. We're all still going to host or fight against each other or like, compete against each other, do this. But we're just going to have it in a different location. So are you going to stop when you're like, oh no, but it's not the Olympics and that's all I prepared for? Or are you going to be like, let me do this thing? Because for all you know, you're doing that new thing, which is what this new moon in Aries is all about. You doing that new thing, you going for that new thing, changes the perspective of everything. Look at the bigger picture. Are you not entertained? Let me stop. But look at the bigger picture though. And that's what I was trying to say, where it's like, oh no, I can't do the Olympics because it's not there. But I just got 5 other opportunities to do that. And then they're going to be like, Olympic attendee chooses to do this instead. Wow, so cool. Let's give her our money and attention. So by the time the Olympics happens the next year, you are that. You are the it girl or the it dude or whatever you end up personally resonating with. I don't want to say anything out of turn if that is not the case. Respects. Regardless. We pulled what we pulled. We saw what we saw. All right. But I hope that helps though, Danielle. For sure. I asked the cards for a guide for this week. He got the 5 of Pentacles reversed in the self-conscious position. Hey. The cards be the cards. The more people... Okay, bet. This is also a final chance. I'm in the last 2 right now. Or last 1, I see. But final chance if you want to just drop in. Leave a tip or something like that. If not, all good. Much love. Oh, another one. Just support. Oh, Gail, I got to talk to you on some real. We got to talk soon. I definitely want to talk to you soon about some other things. Shout out to you. She's great. And thank you for all that you've done for the culture. And I will leave it at that. But for Nina, let's get it. So for Nina, let's see what we got for you. Also, very proud of you. Very proud of you. Because we had that reading before. And you were like, I don't know if I could still do those same things. And I have been seeing you kill it on IG. I've been seeing you get to do a little bit of that in whatever capacity that it works for you. And I'm very proud. I just wanted to point that out before anything else. Let's see what we got for you. 5 of Swords, right? This 5 of Swords is showing one of 2 things, right? All right. So at the bottom of it, how do you tip to OKs? All you got to do, there's going to be in the description at the very top. I have like literally the tip thing. And I'm going to have that for the end of these live streams that I do for like the new moons and full moons and whatever else. I'll just have like a tip thing. And it gets us really engaged too. And I really just enjoy having this community aspect. It feels like all y'all are in here with me in this magic room box of the internet. But the idea though, right? 5 of Swords. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Devil card. I'm going to keep it a stack with you because you know I will. Someone is really mad at your success. Like they're heated. They're heated. They're like, I'm going to put one more thing because like this is actually important. They're super heated, but their conclusions are within reach. So it's like, this is like having a snake in the camp, right? But the snake in the camp about to out themselves. They're about to out themselves in a way where they're like, wait a second. You just mad disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And so suddenly all of the campaign that they were trying to start to bring some BS into your life is now, nope. Now it's like, not anymore. And that's a difference maker of what's going through and what's happening for you. So that's definitely something that I want to point out in that capacity, because I think that's going to be bringing you a lot of different clarity in that regard. Right. Bet. But yeah, Nina, I think it's just like you need to continuously do your thing. Like, make them more mad. I'm not going to lie. And it also says a full moon eclipse too. So I think this is going to really work out by the end of, by next month, we have the eclipse season starting. So I think by eclipse season is when they're going to fully out themselves. And then it's like, oh, they were never the villain of this situation. This person's stupid. So just something to keep in mind. It's actually going to bring you a lot of clout, ironically. So I think that's funny. I could drop down the tipping thing if you need to, or you couldn't find it. 2 keys. I just want to make sure everyone gets. Matter of fact, I got you right now. Let's do that. For the people. Ow. What's up? I've been live for an hour and some change. It has not felt like that at all. I love y'all. This is fun. That is a link for it, though, if you wanted to do so. If not, perfectly okay. No worries at all. I know it's all love. You've been supporting me from the jump. You've been at least here for 3 years. like straight up. So it's all good. And Gail, just support. Ain't no such thing. You about to get this too. I'm actually going to be sending this all to y'all. I'm recording this separately, so I'm going to send directly to y'all the recorded part of the card pulls. So, last card as of right now. This is going to be for Gail. And I'll pull a few for you because you tipped pretty handsomely. So let me make sure I do that. Right. So, bang. You know, this really does feel like, and I love this new one in Aries, because even right now, this feels so nice. This makes so much sense. Like, I don't know. Tarot and I have an interesting relationship, but I think like doing it like this is like, it feels so real. It's directly to people. It's not just to a sign. It's like, because it's one thing to be like, oh, you're a Gemini rising. This is how this is going to go. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that you had a T-square in your immutable shit. This is going to be way different. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate this. Did you miss yours? Let me double check for you. Did you just, oh shoot, there's more people. 1 second. Danielle, did I miss you? 1 second. I just want to make sure. If not, Evelyn, I got you right after this one. Did I pull? I don't think I did. Let me just double check to see if I got the tip though. Because I'm just going off this list, so I want to make sure that. Yeah, Evelyn, I haven't gotten one yet. Unless you put a different name for you, Evelyn. Or if you tip somewhere different. But what I'm looking at, I don't see one. If anything, I still got you afterward. Because technology, as much as we love it, also be doing the most. So I still got you regardless. So, bada ba, bada bing. Got you. I got you, Tammy. All right. So, Gail, sorry, back at it. Gail, this is your reading. We have the Hermit. So it seems like this past winter, specifically through like this Pisces season, has been full recluse mode. And especially because it's been snowy and raining in LA, and that's not the vibe. It has not been the vibe at all. It's raining today. I think it's raining right now, to be honest with you. Like, it's not been a vibe, but this Hermit mode has been so important for you because this is you getting back into your main source and your Leo energy, if I would even say. Leos have been having to take a lot of rest because the summertime is your time frame. This is the time for you to relax, but also what has come from this Hermit mode is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is a card I want to point out even more because the Hierophant at its best literally knows exactly how to like display grace, right? The Hierophant knows how to display grace. The Hierophant knows how to speak matters into existence. Oh, is this still going? I think we're still going. One second, I'm gonna double check. Did my internet go out? I don't know. My bad, y'all. Okay, cool. But anyway, that was weird. Anyway, the idea though is that the Hierophant ends up making for a brand new integration of what you've already been taught, and you're now almost in a position to teach it to other people. And with the Six of Cups, this seems like the future that lies ahead of you has a lot to do with you reconnecting to that inner child and reconnecting to that inner, like, you know, I know that you love gaming and stuff, right? When was the last time you picked up that like first game that got you into like gaming? You know what I mean? Like, this is the type of energy that brings that up, where it's like the nostalgia, because you now see how far you've come. It's important for you to rekindle that nostalgia, because that's the source of that power. That's the source of that love. And that's the heat you're going to bring in this Aries season moving forward. It has everything to do with the concept of you choosing to like have that inner child, have that inner peace, and have that inner love flowing through you. That's what's going to be making a huge difference for you in that process. And I'm going to pull one more for the Moonology. And it says, the answers you need are coming. Full moon in Gemini. I think the answers that are coming through are going to be hitting you really early this Aries season, honestly. I think by the time Pluto hits Aquarius, or no, I take that back. When Mars hits Cancer, if I'm remembering your chart correctly too, when Mars hits Cancer on the 25th is when you're going to start getting the answers that you were looking for. You're still kind of getting out of hermit mode. You're still like really getting the footing, but that nostalgia and the answers from that, those are coming up. So don't stress that. It's going to pop up. Just tell me what you need to know for the upcoming week. For the upcoming week, the answers you need are coming. That's literally, that's what I said. Nah, much love, much love. I'm like, wait a second. They just said that. Much love, much love. Word. Let me double check the tip thing to see if we got everybody. We have Tammy still. And blah, 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 blah. Man, I be going live for too long sometimes. I'm like, oh no, they're going to start seeing that I'm weird, even though they already knew that to begin with. They're going to know that I'm weird. Everybody run. Oh, shout out to you, Lori. Oh, Lori, you ain't have to do all that. I appreciate you. All right, let me get to Tammy, though. Let's get it. Wow. All right, so 2 Okies. I think you mentioned something earlier. I want to double check. I need a stream deck. I'm going to get one later. I swear I'm going to get one. All right, so 2 Okies, you asked how do you tip, and you were asking before, will you sell the house this year? So I'm going to pull for that for you. Will you end up selling the house this year? And I'm going to take the year. I'm going to take the year as the 2023 too, just to give you like a more intricate answer for that, right? But so the Hanged Woman. I've never pulled this card from this deck. Never. I've never seen this. This is interesting. And at the bottom of the deck, you also have the Emperor, right? So it's weird because like the Emperor is kind of being like, yo, this is my crib. This is my space. Don't step up in my space. This is my space. Don't step up in my crib. This is my crib, right? Whereas the Hanged Woman is like in suspension. I feel like this reminds me almost as if like there's a dancer coming down on like a royal court being like, hey, I'm here to be the entertainment for the day. And Emperor's like, I'm not having none of that. I think you might be hit with some offers that aren't as good as they seem at first. And I think part of the Emperor card is trying to show you that you should probably sit on it for a minute, because this is almost like the property value of what you have might go up by next year this time to an incremental point where it's like, oh, if we just waited that bit, we might be okay. So this is something I'm definitely willing to dig in deeper with you, but just from the card and just that, it seems as though you might be holding down the fort for longer than you initially expected. But that holding down the fort isn't a bad thing at all. Not in the slightest. Okay. So I hope that definitely helped for you. And then the card for this, your hard work is paying off. So it's almost like you might not even need to sell it to keep it a stack. It might be one of those things where it's like you don't even need to do that. So definitely something to keep in mind. Bet. I'm glad that helped. So for Lori, you angel, you dropping too much money for a tip. I appreciate you a lot though. So I think this is the last one after this. But I mean, feel free to stick around. You never know what I'm gonna do. Lori, you and your I appreciate the love. This is so cool. Oh man. If me from 3 years ago could sit here and be like, wow, I'm just out here chilling doing this. Ecstatic. So hype. But yeah, doing this on YouTube is fun though. Doing this on YouTube is fun. I like YouTube. I spend most of my time here. if I'm not doing something else. All right, Lori. You done started this, so I'm gonna hit you with a real reading. And for the rest of y'all, if you do want a personal reading, hit me up for one. I can fix something out for you. For tarot at least. Astrology, we have it all down. Tarot, I'm a little more picky about, to be honest. But Knight of Cups, right? Knight of Cups is the first thing. This is the past position for you. We getting into it today. It's the past position for you. This is showing that previously, or in the most recent future, you ended up coming across something that has rekindled your idea and your spark of romance in a sense, right? And the romance doesn't have to necessarily be about one person as much as it is about the romance of the world around you. And I think you starting to see the romance and the love and the people and the emotions of those around you, specifically in this Pisces season, has led you to start to like see in between the cracks of things. At the bottom, we have the Knight of Swords. So this is showing that it's like, I don't think you've held any bars back when it comes to what you feel or what you think. And because of that, people have been showing themselves up differently emotionally. And you might have even expected that. Where it's like, well, I shouldn't do this because that person hates that. And then you do it and they're just like, no, I actually like that. And you're like, what? Really? You know what I'm saying? And then we have the wild card. I'm sorry. It's from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. My bad. But the world card, right? The world card. This is so important because the world is showing you where it's like new moon in Aries. This is a literal new world that you're designing. And I believe we had a reading recently. And in that reading, it emails you, just FYI. Got you. But what is happening here? Everything has frozen. Wait, I think we're on again. They couldn't stop me. I mean, they kind of did, but hold on. Hold up. I think I got it. One sec. Let's give it a shot. I think I found a way. Honestly, I should probably just end this. I do appreciate you all being here, though. This is definitely going to just keep messing with me. So I'm going to send this to y'all afterward. Honestly, I'm going to send it to you directly, Lori, because this is kind of ridiculous. But even when you fix all the text things, even when I've checked all the boxes, even when I figured all that other out, it's just like, new moon in Aries, though. New beginnings. Wow. Yeah, they're just going to be disrespectful. That's okay though. I already have other ways to make it good. So I appreciate you all for being here. Appreciate the love. And I will be sending you all the readings individually later on today or tomorrow at the latest.